Welcome to English TalkNest. My name is Ryan. I'm really glad you're here. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried to learn English but felt stuck? Maybe you bought grammar books. Maybe you joined classes. Maybe you even watched lots of YouTube videos. But still, when you try to speak, your mind goes blank. Does that sound familiar?
And I'm Cindy. Oh, yes, Ryan. I remember that feeling. You know some words, you understand a little, but when it's your turn to talk, suddenly silence. Your mouth doesn't move and you feel nervous, embarrassed, maybe even afraid.
Exactly. But here's the truth. You don't have to suffer like that. There's a simple, powerful way to practice English every single day, without stress, without pressure, and without spending hours studying.
And that secret is podcasts. Listening to podcasts can completely change how fast you improve your English.
Now, before you think, oh, I already listen to podcasts, let me stop you. Because today, Cindy and I are going to show you not only why podcasts are powerful, but also how you can use them in a smart, simple way to boost your fluency faster than ever before.
So stay with us. Don't click away. In just the next few minutes, you'll discover how you can practice English in the easiest way possible, even if you're busy, even if you're shy, even if you're just a beginner.
Let's start with a simple question. Why do people fail when learning English?
Hmm. I think it's because most learners focus too much on grammar rules or they try to memorize long vocabulary lists.
Yes, and when they finally try to speak, they sound like a robot. Or worse, they can't remember the words at all.
But here's the magic of podcasts. They give you real, natural English, not the boring textbook sentences, but the way people actually speak in daily life.
And because podcasts are audio, you can listen anywhere, while walking, cooking, driving, even lying in bed before sleep.
That's true. When you make podcasts part of your daily routine, English practice becomes effortless. You don't need to sit at a desk, you don't need to schedule long study sessions, you just listen.
And here's something fascinating. Your brain learns language passively, almost like magic. Even if you're not focusing 100%, your ears and mind are absorbing rhythm, pronunciation, and vocabulary.
Exactly. That's why babies learn their first language without studying. They just listen every single day, and you can do the same with English.
But wait, someone might say, Cindy, Ryan, I already listen to music in English, or I watch movies. Why podcasts?
Great question. The difference is that podcasts are designed for listening. They're usually slower, clearer, and more conversational than movies or songs. You get real English, but in a way that's easier to understand.
Plus, you can choose topics you love. Do you like sports? There's a podcast for that. Do you like cooking, history, motivation, or even true crime stories? There are thousands of podcasts in English.
And when you listen to something you enjoy, you don't feel like you're studying, you feel like you're just having fun.
Which is the secret to learning English fast. Enjoy the process.
Yes, because if learning feels boring, you'll quit. But if it feels fun, you'll keep going. And if you keep going every day, your English will improve faster than you ever imagined.
Now, let's make it practical. Imagine this. Tomorrow morning, you wake up. Instead of scrolling social media, you press play on an English podcast. While brushing your teeth, while making coffee, you listen.
And then, when you go to work or school, you put your earphones in. On the bus, on the train, in the car, you listen again.
At night, before sleeping, you play another short episode. Your brain relaxes, and while you sleep, it continues to process what you heard.
That's already 30, maybe 40 minutes of English practice without even opening a book.
And if you do this every day, can you imagine how much English will enter your mind in just 1 month?
It's powerful. And the best part, you don't need to force yourself. It becomes part of your life.
Now, let's be clear. Listening alone is great, But to really speak fluently, you need one more step.
Yes, and this is the step that most learners forget. Are you ready? It's called shadowing.
Shadowing means repeating what you hear, like an echo. For example, you hear me say, I want to improve my English. Then you repeat out loud, I want to improve my English.
It feels strange at first, but it's the fastest way to train your mouth, your tongue, your pronunciation, and your fluency.
Think of it like singing along to a song. When you sing, you don't just listen, you also move your mouth, copy the rhythm, and remember the lyrics.
And with podcasts, you do the same. You listen and then you speak. That's how your English starts to sound natural.
Now, here's the challenge for you. After watching this video, choose one short podcast episode in English. Listen once without stopping. Then listen again, and this time pause after each sentence and repeat it.
Do this 3 times, and I promise you, you will feel more confident, more fluent, and more alive in English.
Because English is not just knowledge, it's a skill. And skills come from practice, not theory.
So, are you ready to use podcasts to improve your English fast?
Stay with us because we're going to show you even more techniques to make this simple method work for you.
So, Cindy, we just explained shadowing, but I think some learners are still wondering, what if I feel shy? What if I don't like the sound of my voice?
That's a common problem. Many learners are afraid to hear themselves speaking English. They think their accent sounds strange, or they're afraid of making mistakes. But let me tell you something important. Mistakes are not bad. Mistakes are proof that you are learning.
Yes. Think about it. When a baby learns to walk, they fall hundreds of times. Nobody says, "Oh, you failed." No, they celebrate. Every fall is part of the journey. And with English, every mistake is part of the journey too.
So instead of being afraid of mistakes, we should actually welcome them. Every time you shadow a podcast and make a mistake, you're training your brain. You're teaching your mouth how to move. That's real progress.
And here's a little secret. Even native speakers make mistakes. We forget words, we use the wrong grammar, we repeat ourselves. It's natural. So don't expect perfection. Aim for communication.
Exactly, and podcasts help you focus on communication because they show you real conversations, real stories, real voices.
Now, let's go deeper into how to use podcasts effectively. We already talked about listening in the morning, during the day, and before bed. But what about note-taking? Should learners take notes when listening?
That's a good question. My answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no. If you're a beginner, I suggest just listening. Don't stress about writing down every word. Just let your brain absorb the sounds.
But if you're intermediate or advanced, you can try taking short notes. Not full sentences, just key words. For example, if the podcast is about travel, maybe you write airport, luggage, delay, ticket. These words help you remember the topic.
And then, later, you can try to retell the story in your own words. This is a powerful exercise. You're not just listening, you're practicing speaking too.
Yes, I love that. Listen, take notes, then retell. It's like a 3-step system. Input, memory, output. That cycle makes your English stronger.
And you don't need long notes. Just a few words are enough. The goal is to train your brain to understand and then produce language.
Here's another tip. Don't be afraid to listen to the same episode many times. Repetition is your friend. The first time, you might understand 50%. The second time, 70%. The third time, maybe 90%.
And the beautiful thing is, every time you repeat, you catch something new. A phrase, an intonation, a cultural detail. It's like watching your favorite movie again and noticing small things you didn't see before.
I want to share an example. Let's say you listen to a podcast about food. The host says, "I grabbed a quick bite before work." The first time, maybe you don't catch it. The second time, you hear grabbed a quick bite and you wonder what it means. By the third time, you realize it means ate something small and fast.
Yes, and once you learn it, you can use it. Next time you meet a friend, you can say, I grabbed a quick bite this morning. That's how vocabulary becomes natural.
Another important point is choosing the right podcast. Some learners make the mistake of choosing podcasts that are too difficult. If you understand less than 40%, it can be discouraging.
On the other hand, if you understand 100%, it's too easy. You won't grow. The best level is where you understand about 70%, enough to follow the main idea, but still with new words to learn.
And if you can't find the perfect podcast, don't worry. Just choose a topic you enjoy. Interest is more important than difficulty. If you like the content, you'll keep listening.
That's true. And remember, it's not a test. Nobody is grading you. Nobody is watching you. You're free to learn at your own pace.
Let's also talk about pronunciation. Many learners ask, how can I improve my accent? The answer is simple. Copy the rhythm and melody of podcasts.
Yes, English is a musical language. The stress, the pauses, the ups and downs, that's what makes it sound natural. When you shadow a podcast, don't only copy the words, copy the music of the sentence.
For example, if the host says, "Are you ready to go?" the voice goes up at the end. If you copy that melody, your question sounds natural.
And if you hear, I'm really tired today, the stress is on really. Copy that stress, and suddenly you sound more fluent.
So think of yourself as a singer learning a new song. First, you listen. Then, you hum along. Finally, you sing out loud. That's how you learn the rhythm of English.
I like that metaphor because language is music and your voice is the instrument.
Now, some learners may wonder, how long should I listen each day? The answer is, it depends. Even 10 minutes a day is powerful if you do it consistently.
Yes, consistency is more important than time. 10 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Your brain learns better with small, regular practice.
Think of it like watering a plant. If you give it a little water every day, it grows strong. But if you pour a bucket of water once a week, it won't survive.
So, your English is like a plant. Podcasts are the water. Feed your English every day, and it will grow.
I love that. Now, let's give our listeners one simple action they can take today.
Okay, here's the challenge. After this video, choose one short podcast episode in English, no more than 5 minutes. Listen once, just enjoy. Then listen again and shadow it out loud.
And if you're brave, record yourself. Yes, record your voice on your phone. Listen, compare with the original, and notice the difference. This will change how you hear your own English.
It's a little scary at first, but it's powerful. When you listen to yourself, you become more aware, and that awareness helps you improve faster.
So, don't wait. Start today. Your English will thank you tomorrow.
And remember, English learning doesn't have to be hard. With podcasts, it can be simple, natural, and even fun.
Cindy, I think now our listeners are starting to see the power of podcasts, but maybe they're asking themselves, how fast can I really improve if I do this every day?
Yes, that's a question many people have. They want results quickly. And the truth is, podcasts can help you improve much faster than traditional study methods, but only if you use them the right way.
That's right. Let's break it down. Imagine you listen for just 20 minutes a day. In 1 week, that's over 2 hours of English input. In 1 month, almost 10 hours. And in 1 year, more than 120 hours of natural English in your ears.
Wow, that's like taking dozens of lessons, but without sitting in a classroom. And the best part is, you don't even notice the hours passing, because you're doing it while living your normal life.
Exactly. And here's something interesting. The more you listen, the faster your brain adapts. At first, it feels hard, but after a few weeks, you'll notice that English sounds clearer. Words that used to feel fast or confusing suddenly become easy.
Yes, it's like training your ears at the gym. In the beginning, lifting weights feels heavy, but as you practice, your muscles grow stronger. Podcasts do the same for your listening skills.
And once your listening improves, your speaking naturally improves too, because the better you understand, the easier it is to respond.
That's so true. Many learners think speaking comes first, but in reality, listening is the foundation. If you can't understand, you can't answer. Podcasts train your listening every single day.
Let's share some practical strategies to make progress even faster. One of my favorites is what I call active listening time and passive listening time.
Yes, that's a good system. Can you explain the difference?
Of course, active listening is when you focus completely. You play a podcast, maybe you have a notebook, maybe you shadow the sentences, and you give your full attention. That's deep practice.
And passive listening is the opposite. You play a podcast in the background while cooking, cleaning, walking, or exercising. You're not 100% focused, but your ears are still catching the rhythm and sounds.
Exactly. Both are important. Active listening builds skill, passive listening builds comfort. Together, they create balance.
And here's the good news. Passive listening doesn't feel like studying. It feels like part of your lifestyle. English becomes the soundtrack of your day.
Yes, that's the goal. Making English part of your environment. You don't need to live in an English-speaking country. You can create your own English world right where you are.
That's powerful. You know, Ryan, I remember one of my students who improved so fast with podcasts. She used to be afraid to speak in class, but she started listening every day while taking the bus to work.
And what happened?
After just 2 months, her listening improved so much that she started answering questions in English naturally. She wasn't translating in her head anymore. She just understood and responded.
That's the magic we're talking about. Consistency plus podcasts equals progress.
Now, let's give another technique. It's something I love. Creating a podcast journal.
Oh, yes, that's great. Can you explain how to do it?
It's very simple. Every time you listen to a podcast, you write down 1 or 2 new expressions you liked. Not 10, not 20, just 1 or 2. Then, you try to use them in your own sentences during the day.
That's brilliant. Small steps, but powerful. Imagine if you do this for 30 days. That's 30 new phrases you can actually use.
And because you heard them in real conversations, you already know how they sound, how they fit, how native speakers use them.
Yes, it's like collecting treasures. Each phrase is a little gem you add to your English toolbox.
And remember, it's not about memorizing big lists. It's about choosing phrases that feel useful to you. For example, if you often talk about food, maybe write down, grab a quick bite, or I'm starving.
And if you often talk about work, maybe I've got a deadline, or let's catch up later.
Exactly. Personal phrases make your English more natural.
Now let's talk about confidence. Many learners know some English, but they freeze when speaking. Podcasts can help with this problem too.
Yes, because the more you hear English, the less strange it feels. Your brain becomes comfortable with the sounds. And when you shadow, your mouth becomes comfortable too.
And confidence is not about being perfect. It's about feeling comfortable enough to try. The more you practice with podcasts, the easier it becomes to open your mouth and speak.
I like to say confidence is built, not born. You build it brick by brick, podcast by podcast, sentence by sentence.
That's beautiful, and it's so true. Nobody is born confident in English. We all build it.
Another tip for building confidence is to listen to podcasts before a conversation. For example, if you know you'll talk to someone in English today, listen to 10 minutes of a podcast first. It warms up your brain, like stretching before exercise.
Yes, it's like a warm-up for your mouth and ears. You feel more ready, more fluent.
And if you can, shadow a few sentences right before speaking. That way, your tongue is already moving in English.
That's a fantastic tip. And I want to add one more. Don't just listen to podcasts alone, share them with a friend. Choose the same episode, listen separately, then meet and talk about it in English.
Yes, that's fun. You can say, "Hey, did you hear that story? What did you think?" And suddenly you're having a natural English conversation.
And it doesn't feel like homework, it feels like friendship. That's the best kind of learning.
So let's summarize for our listeners. To improve your English fast with podcasts, 1. Listen every day, even for just 10 to 20 minutes. 2. Mix active listening with passive listening. 3. Repeat episodes and practice shadowing. 4. Keep a podcast journal with 1 or 2 phrases. 5. Share podcasts with a friend for real conversation.
If you do just these 5 things, your English will grow faster than you expect.
And remember, English is not a mountain you climb in one day. It's a journey you enjoy step by step. Podcasts make that journey easier and more fun.
So don't wait. Pick a podcast tonight, listen, shadow, and write down one phrase. That's your first step.
And tomorrow, do it again. One step, then another, then another. Soon you'll look back and realize how far you've come.
Cindy, I think a lot of learners might still wonder, what kind of podcast should I listen to? Because there are thousands out there, and choosing the wrong one could make it frustrating instead of fun.
That's a great point, Ryan. The right podcast makes all the difference. If the podcast is too difficult, you'll feel lost. If it's too easy, you won't grow. You need that sweet spot, something just a little above your level.
Exactly. A good rule is this. When you listen, you should understand about 70 to 80%. That way, it's not too hard, but you still have new things to learn.
Yes, and it's okay if you don't understand every single word. That's natural. Even native speakers don't catch every word in every podcast. What matters is the general meaning.
That's such an important reminder. Learners sometimes think, oh no, I missed a word, I failed. But no, that's not failure, that's learning.
And here's something fun. Choose topics you actually enjoy. If you love sports, find a sports podcast. If you love cooking, find a food podcast. If you love travel, listen to travel stories.
Yes, because when you enjoy the topic, you naturally stay curious and motivated. English learning becomes entertainment instead of obligation.
And it doesn't have to be educational podcasts only. Even comedy, interviews, or storytelling can be excellent for your English.
Exactly. Language is everywhere. Every style, every topic, every voice can help you improve.
But I also want to mention, don't jump from one podcast to another too quickly. Sometimes learners switch every day, searching for the perfect one. The truth is, progress comes from repetition and familiarity.
That's right. If you stick to one show for a while, you get used to the host's voice, rhythm, and expressions. It becomes easier and you build confidence.
Yes, it's like becoming friends with the host. At first, their accent feels strange, but soon it feels natural.
And when you're ready, you can add variety. But start with consistency first.
That's a smart approach. And here's another little trick. Listen to podcasts with transcripts if possible.
Ah, yes. That's a game changer. When you have the transcript, you can listen once without it, then read while listening again. You'll notice words you missed the first time.
And you'll also see how words are spelled. Sometimes what we hear and what we see are different. The transcript connects both worlds.
It's like turning the lights on in a dark room. Suddenly, everything becomes clearer.
Exactly. And if you don't have a transcript, that's okay. Just focus on listening multiple times. Your brain will catch more details each time.
Let's also talk about speed. Many learners say, Ryan, Cindy, the podcast is too fast for me.
Yes, that's common. But here's the good news. Most platforms allow you to slow down the audio. You can start at 0.8 speed instead of 1.0.
Right, slowing it down is totally fine. But here's my advice. Don't always stay at slow speed. Use it as training wheels. Gradually return to normal speed when you feel ready.
Yes, because real conversations happen at normal speed. That's the level you want to reach eventually.
And the opposite is also useful. Sometimes if a podcast feels easy,
Try listening at 1.2 or 1.5 speed. It's like a workout for your ears.
That's true. Faster speed trains your brain to process quickly. Then, when you go back to normal speed, it feels super comfortable.
Exactly. It's like running with weights on your legs, then taking them off, you suddenly feel light and fast.
Ryan, can we also share some ideas about listening before sleep? Many learners ask about that.
Oh, yes, that's one of my favorites. Listening before sleep is powerful because your brain continues processing while you rest. It's like planting seeds before the night, and they grow while you sleep.
Yes, studies show that our brains review sounds and patterns during sleep. So, if you listen to English podcasts at night, your mind keeps practicing subconsciously.
And the best part is, you don't have to study hard. You just relax, close your eyes, and let the podcast flow into your ears.
It's almost like learning English without effort.
Yes, I used to do this with Spanish when I was a learner. I'd fall asleep with a podcast playing softly. In the morning, I couldn't remember every detail, but I felt more comfortable with the sounds.
That's a wonderful method. And even if you don't fall asleep, listening at night is calming. It helps you end the day with English in your mind.
Exactly. And the more often you do it, the more natural English becomes, like a second skin.
So let's think practically. If someone listening to us right now wants to start tonight, what should they do?
Simple. Step 1. Choose a short podcast episode, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Step 2. Play it softly as you lie down. Step 3. Don't stress about understanding. Just let the sounds wash over you.
That's so easy. Anyone can try it.
Yes, and after a week, they'll notice English feels more familiar.
You know, Ryan, I love how podcasts make learning so flexible. Morning, afternoon, night, you can fit them into any part of your life.
That's the beauty of it. Podcasts don't demand extra time. They fit into the time you already have.
And that's why they're one of the easiest, simplest, and fastest ways to improve your English.
Exactly. And the best part, they're free. Most podcasts don't cost anything. That's like having a library of teachers in your pocket.
Yes, thousands of teachers, voices, and stories all for free. No excuses.
So if you're serious about improving, podcasts are a gift you should use every single day.
I completely agree. And remember, our channel, English TalkNest, is here to guide you with tips, strategies, and encouragement so you never feel alone on this journey.
That's right. We're learning together, one podcast at a time.
Cindy, I think now is the perfect time to talk about speaking. Because many learners ask, podcasts are great for listening, but how can they help me actually speak English more fluently?
Yes, that's such an important question. Podcasts don't just train your ears, they can train your mouth too. The secret is to not only listen, but to use what you hear.
Exactly. One of the most effective techniques is called shadowing. We mentioned it earlier, but let's go deeper now.
Shadowing means repeating the words you hear as quickly and closely as possible, almost like an echo. The goal is to copy the rhythm, tone, and pronunciation of the speaker.
Yes, and it's okay if you're not perfect. Don't worry about missing a word. Just keep going, follow the flow, and stay close to the speaker's voice.
That's right. And you don't need to shadow the whole episode. Even 1 or 2 minutes of shadowing every day can transform your fluency.
Exactly. Imagine if you shadow for just 5 minutes a day. After 1 month, that's more than 2 hours of practice with your mouth moving in English. That's huge progress.
And here's the best part. You're not just practicing vocabulary, you're training your pronunciation, your rhythm, your intonation, all those little details that make English sound natural.
Yes, and rhythm is key. English has a special music, and podcasts help you catch it. When you shadow, you're basically learning the music of English.
That's beautifully said. And it really works. I had a student once who used podcasts only for shadowing. After a few months, people said her English sounded almost native-like, not because she knew more grammar, but because her rhythm was so natural.
That's inspiring, and it shows that shadowing is not about perfection, but about practice and persistence.
Exactly. And if shadowing feels difficult at first, Try pause and repeat. Play a short part, pause, then repeat slowly. Gradually, you'll be able to keep up without pausing.
Yes, it's like training for a marathon. First you walk, then you jog, then one day you're running smoothly beside the podcast speaker.
I love that image. And here's another fun idea. Record yourself while shadowing, then listen to your voice and compare it with the original.
That's powerful. It's like holding a mirror up to your English. You'll notice things you didn't hear while speaking. Maybe your pronunciation, maybe your speed.
And don't be discouraged if your recording sounds different. That's normal. Over time, you'll hear yourself getting closer and closer to the podcast speaker.
Yes, and listening to your own voice also builds confidence. Many learners feel shy because they've never heard themselves in English. Recording makes you braver.
Absolutely. And speaking of confidence, I want to talk about another technique, podcast role play.
Oh, I love that one. Please explain it.
It's simple. You choose a conversation from a podcast, maybe an interview or dialogue. Then you take one person's role and the podcast takes the other role. You literally have a conversation with the podcast.
Yes, for example, if the host asks a question, pause the audio, answer it in your own words, then continue. It feels like you're really talking with them.
And the magic is you don't feel alone. You feel part of the dialogue. That makes speaking practice fun and less scary.
Exactly. And you can be creative. Change the answers, add your own stories, even ask the host a question back.
Yes, that makes it real communication, not just copying.
Another way to build fluency is to retell what you heard. After listening to an episode, close your eyes and try to explain the main ideas in your own words.
That's powerful because when you retell, you're not only practicing vocabulary, you're training your thinking in English.
Yes, and thinking in English is the ultimate skill. It removes the delay, the translation, the hesitation. Retelling trains that muscle.
And you don't need to retell perfectly. Even short, simple sentences like, the man traveled to Japan. He lost his bag. He met a new friend. That's enough. Over time, your retelling will become longer and smoother.
Yes, it's like building blocks. First small blocks, then bigger ones.
And you can combine retelling with recording, listen, retell, record, then listen back. It's a complete cycle of listening, speaking, and self-feedback.
That's one of the fastest ways to improve fluency because you're creating output, not just input.
Exactly. And that's something many learners miss. They listen a lot, but they don't use the language. Podcasts give you the material, but you must speak it out loud.
Yes, English is not learned by silence. It's learned by speaking.
That's right. And you don't need a partner every time. Podcast can be your partner.
I think that's one of the most exciting things about podcasts. They're always available, always patient, never tired, never judging you.
Yes, they're like your best practice buddy.
Cindy, I also want to highlight variety. When learners shadow or retell, they should choose podcasts with different accents and voices. That way they prepare for real-life conversations.
Good point. English is global and accents are diverse. The more you expose yourself, the more flexible your ears and tongue become.
Yes, so maybe one week you shadow an American podcast, the next week a British one, then maybe Australian, Indian, or even African accents.
And that makes you confident in any situation. Whether you meet a tourist, a teacher, or a business partner, you're ready.
Exactly. And the best part is, you don't just learn the language, you learn the culture, humor, and personality behind each voice.
That's true. Language is more than words. It's people. Podcasts connect you with people all around the world.
So, to summarize for our listeners, here are some ways to turn podcasts into speaking practice. 1. Shadow sentences every day. 2. Pause and repeat when needed. 3. Record yourself and compare. 4. Role play with the podcast. 5. Retell the episode in your own words. 6. Use a variety of voices and accents.
Yes, if you practice these regularly, your speaking will not only become more fluent, but also more confident and natural.
And remember, fluency is not about speed, it's about flow. It's about being able to express yourself comfortably.
Yes, fluency means you can share your thoughts, even if your grammar isn't perfect, and podcasts help you practice that flow every single day.
So don't just listen silently. Open your mouth, shadow, retell, role play. Use podcasts as your speaking gym.
That's the secret. Listen, speak, repeat. Simple, powerful, effective.
And every day you do it, you're one step closer to fluent, confident English.
Cindy, we've shared so many strategies: listening actively, listening passively, shadowing, retelling, role-playing, even using podcasts before sleep. But I think the most important question is, how can learners stay consistent?
Yes, because consistency is everything. You don't improve from listening once or twice. You improve from building a habit. And the great news is podcasts are one of the easiest habits to create.
That's true. Unlike heavy textbooks or long grammar lessons, podcasts are light and flexible. You can carry them everywhere, on your phone, in your pocket.
Exactly. You can listen on the bus, while waiting for coffee, during a walk, before bed. It doesn't require special time. That makes consistency possible.
And here's a simple trick. Connect your podcast time with something you already do every day. For example, if you drink tea every morning, make that your podcast moment.
Yes. Or if you always cook dinner, play an episode while chopping vegetables. It becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth.
And when something is automatic, you don't need extra motivation. You just do it.
That's the secret. Habit beats motivation. Motivation goes up and down, but habit stays.
Exactly. And another way to stay consistent is to keep your goals small. Many learners fail because they start too big. They say, I'll listen for 2 hours every day, and then after 3 days, they stop.
Yes, it's better to start small. Even 5 minutes a day is powerful, because 5 minutes every day is more than nothing. And often, when you start for 5 minutes, you naturally continue longer.
That's so true. Start small, build strong. That's the English TalkNest way.
I love that. And learners should also celebrate their progress. Every week, notice how much more you understand. Every month, notice how much smoother your speaking feels.
Yes, celebrate the little victories. Maybe you understood a joke in a podcast. Maybe you shadowed one whole minute without stopping. Maybe you used a phrase in a real conversation. Those are wins.
Absolutely. And when you celebrate, you feel proud. Pride builds energy, and energy keeps you consistent.
Another tip, share your journey. Tell a friend, join an online community, or even leave a comment under a podcast. When you share, you feel connected.
Yes, learning is always easier with friends. That's why we created this channel, English TalkNest. We wanted learners to feel they're not alone.
Exactly. This isn't just about English, it's about community, encouragement, and growth together.
And speaking of community, let's remind our listeners, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going.
Yes, many learners wait for the perfect time or perfect plan, but the perfect time is now. The perfect plan is simple. Listen, repeat, speak.
Exactly. And if you make mistakes, good. Mistakes mean you're learning. They're proof that you're moving forward.
That's such an important mindset. Fear of mistakes is the biggest block to fluency. But if you accept mistakes, you unlock progress.
Yes, podcasts help with this too because they expose you to natural, imperfect, real conversations. You realize that even native speakers pause, laugh, and change their words.
That's right. Real English is not perfect. Real English is human.
And that's what learners should aim for. Not perfection, but communication.
Exactly. If you can express yourself, connect, and be understood, that's success.
So Ryan, if we had to give our listeners one final roadmap to follow, what would it look like?
Let's keep it simple. Step 1, choose one podcast you enjoy. Step 2, listen every day, even for 5 minutes. Step 3, shadow or repeat at least a few sentences. Step 4, retell or role play sometimes. Step 5, Keep a journal of new phrases. Step 6. Celebrate small victories.
Perfect. 6 steps that anyone can follow, no matter their level.
Yes, and if you follow these steps for even 3 months, your English will transform.
I agree. We've seen it with so many learners, and if they can do it, you can too.
Exactly. Don't wait for someday, start today. Play a podcast, listen, repeat, and let your English journey begin.
Yes, and remember, this journey can be enjoyable. English doesn't have to be stressful. With podcasts, it can be simple, natural, and even fun.
That's the spirit, and every time you listen, imagine us here cheering for you because we believe in you.
Yes, we believe every learner has the power to become confident and fluent. It's just one step at a time.
So, to all of you listening, thank you for spending this time with us today on English TalkNest.
Yes, thank you. We're so glad you're here, and we can't wait to see your progress.
And don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who's learning English too. You can grow together.
And come back often because we'll keep giving you tips, strategies, and encouragement to make English easier.
That's right. You're not alone. We're here, learning together.
So, until next time, keep listening, keep speaking, keep growing.
And keep believing in yourself. You got this.
See you soon on English TalkNest.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.